Does India deserve a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council? What has been its journey and interactions with the UNSC so far? These questions have been circulating in political circles and among international relations enthusiasts for quite some time now. India's role in the United Nations has been significant, and its recent achievements have only added to its global recognition. Notably, the successful consensus document produced at the G20 summit held in New Delhi and the Chandrayaan-3 mission, making India the first nation to reach the South Pole of the Moon, have been hailed worldwide. These events underline the growing stature of India on the international stage. However, to fully comprehend India's claim for a permanent seat at the UN Security Council, we need to delve into the annals of history. So, let's embark on this exploration to understand. To understand India's claim for a permanent seat, we need to delve into the history. The story begins in 1949 during Nehru's visit to the United States. As we delve into this narrative, it's crucial to know that the heart of the matter lies in the offers extended to India for a permanent spot at the United Nations Security Council, or UNSC. The first offer came from the United States, which sought India's cooperation against the Soviet Union. The US leadership was ready to champion India's case for a permanent seat. However, Nehru, India's Prime Minister at the time, turned down this offer. His reasoning was rooted in his support for Communist China's inclusion into the UNSC. Nehru was firm in his stance that India should not be seated in the world body at China's expense. But the story doesn't end there. A lesser-known fact is the second offer made to India in 1955. This time, it was the Soviet Prime Minister Bulganin who proposed the idea of including India as a sixth permanent member of the UNSC. Once again, Nehru rejected the offer. As noted in A.G. Noorani's 2002 review of selected works of Jawaharlal Nehru, Nehru viewed this as a feeler to test India. Nehru's biographer S. Gopal also alluded to Nehru's principled stand on this issue. Looking back, the depth of China's continued hostility towards India makes it hard to counter the arguments of Nehru's political and academic critics. They argue that rejecting both the 1950 American offer and the 1955 Soviet offer were historic blunders. For the rest of the Cold War years, the question of India's permanent membership in the UNSC remained in the shadows. Nehru's decisions have been criticized as historic blunders, especially considering China's continued hostility towards India. But history is a complex tapestry of decisions, outcomes, and lessons. And as we move forward, it's essential to understand the context and consequences of these early years. The issue resurfaced in 1986 during Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's address to the UNGA. The late Prime Minister took up the mantle, raising the question of India's permanent membership at the United Nations General Assembly. However, the geopolitical landscape was not in India's favor. The decline of Russia's influence, coupled with a lukewarm response from the United States, hindered India's plea. Fast forward to the late 90s, and the issue was back on the table. Former Prime Minister Vajpayee reignited the conversation after India's ascension to nuclear weapon state status. But once again, the bid was met with resistance. China, whose power had grown exponentially over the years, stood firmly opposed to India's entry. It was a clear demonstration of the global power dynamics at play. Despite these setbacks, India did not back down. It continued to assert its worthiness and right to a seat at the table. The nation's strategic importance, demographic advantage, financial support, and substantial contribution to the UN peacekeeping force are all undeniable indicators of its readiness to take on a larger role on the global stage. In recent years, the Indo-US relationship has evolved into a significant politico-strategic alliance, especially in the context of countering China's growing influence. Furthermore, India's leadership in the Global South has solidified, placing it at the forefront of developing nations. Riding on these developments, it seems we've reached a pivotal moment in history. A moment where India's claim to a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council is not only justified, but also necessary. A moment where the world must acknowledge India's potential to contribute significantly to global peace and security. Despite these setbacks, the growing Indo-US relationship and India's leadership in the Global South make it a ripe time to renew its demand for a permanent seat. Yes, the road to a permanent seat has been long and arduous, filled with geopolitical complexities, but India's resolve remains unshaken. The time has come for India to claim its rightful place at the United Nations Security Council. Why should India be given a permanent seat at the UNSC? Let's delve into this. India's strategic importance on the global stage is undeniable. As the world's largest democracy and a major economic powerhouse, it holds a significant role in international affairs. Additionally, India's demographic advantage, with over 1 billion people, adds weight to its claim. India's financial contributions to the United Nations also cannot be overlooked. The nation has been consistently contributing to the UN's regular and peacekeeping budgets, demonstrating its commitment to global peace and security. Moreover, India's substantial troop contributions to the UN peacekeeping force is noteworthy. It has contributed about 195,000 troops, the largest of any country, participating in over 49 missions. Indian peacekeepers have shown immense bravery and dedication, with 168 losing their lives while serving on UN missions. With all these factors in mind, it seems clear that India's claim for a permanent seat at the UNSC is more than justifiable.